some of the funniest fake Minecraft speedruns because these speedrunners are absolutely terrible at hiding the fact that they're literally cheating. This speedrunner starts by loading into the world, where immediately we can see a desert temple that's inside of a village, which has gotta be one of the luckiest spawns I've ever seen for speedrunning. Well, the speedrunner immediately heads towards the desert temple and begins breaking their way down. Once they land inside, they begin looting all 4 chests, where they surprisingly find some pretty normal loot, like a golden apple, rotten flesh, and even bones. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Well, they finish looting all of the chests, but wait just a second. Did you see that? Well, out of nowhere, the advancement appeared inside chat called diamonds. And inside of the speedrunner's inventory, we can see 10 diamonds. And if we rewind the footage and then play it again, we can see that this literally came out of nowhere. So how is this possible? Well, the speedrunner looks straight up where we can suddenly see a chicken. But then the chicken just walks away. So did the chicken drop the diamonds? How could a chicken drop diamonds? Well, if I'm being completely honest, I am so confused. Well, the speedrunner begins building their way back up when they exit the desert temple and begin exploring more of the village. They then begin destroying some hay bales for some bread for food later in the speedrun. But hold on just a second. Did you see that? Well, if we rewind the footage and then play it again from right here, we can see a villager walk by and drop a netherite sword. But last time I checked, villagers cannot drop random items. But maybe I just missed an update. Well, the speedrunner picks up the netherite sword, and we can even see that it lost some durability, which is an even clearer sign that this is actually fake. Well, the speedrunner explores more of the village, where they eventually find a crafting table. So they craft themselves some bread, a diamond pickaxe, and even diamond pants, which is very good loot to have at the start of a speedrun. Well, now that the speedrunner has some pretty good loot, they decide to head back towards the pyramid that they saw at the start of the speedrun. But this time, there's a nether portal. But if we look back at the footage from before, we can see that there was actually no nether portal, which means someone had to have placed this here. And I have a strange feeling that it could have been the chicken and the villager that we saw earlier in the speedrun. And I'm not gonna lie, if you think a random nether portal appearing out of nowhere is insane, then you're gonna be even more surprised for what happens at the end, because it is absolutely insane. Well, the speedrunner then decides to head inside the nether portal, and once they're in the nether, they look around for a little bit, and everything seems pretty normal. But hold on just a second. You see, these videos take a long time to make, so if you could simply subscribe, that would genuinely mean the world to me. Okay, now back to the speedrun. So they begin exploring a little bit until they find this piglin here. So the speedrunner drops 3 gold to trade with the piglin. But hold on, did you see that? Well, if we rewind the footage and pause it right here, we can see all of the chat messages. And one of them says that a player joined the game. But this is very weird, because whenever you do a speedrun, you have to make sure that you are in a single player world. And this message here clearly shows that they are in the world with another player, which is actually against the rules of speedrunning. Well, once the piglin picks up the 3 gold, the piglin turns around and starts dropping tons of ender pearls. What the heck? Okay, I think I must have missed an update, because last time I checked, piglins don't just drop ender pearls like this, which makes me believe that this is the same person that we saw being a villager earlier in the speedrun. Well, now that the speedrunner has a bunch of ender pearls, they begin heading back towards their portal. And once they're in the overworld, they begin heading back inside the village. But wait just a second. Did you see that? Well, if we look at the top left corner, we can see that the timer says 12 minutes and 36 seconds. But if we rewind the footage, we can see that the timer just said 3 minutes and 45 seconds, which means the speedrunner is either a time traveler or they're cheating. Well, once the speedrunner is back inside of the village, wait, what the heck? Do you see that? Well, if we zoom in right here, we can see what appears to be a chicken on top of an end portal. And not only that, the chicken hides behind the tree, likely indicating that this could actually be a real person and not an actual chicken. Well, the speedrunner makes her way over towards the end portal, where we can see that all of the eyes of Ender have already been placed in except for one. And of course, there's an eye of Ender right on top of it. So the speedrunner picks up the eye of Ender and places it in. And now that they're in the end, they take their ender pearl and throw it to the main island. And once it lands, we can see something that is fake. Because if you look at the top of the screen, we can see that there is no health bar for the ender dragon. But if we continue the speedrun, we can see that there actually still is an ender dragon. I have a strange feeling that this is not the real ender dragon. Because earlier in the speedrun, we saw a fake piglin, a fake villager, and even a fake chicken. So something tells me that this ender dragon is also fake. Well, as they continue the speedrun, they literally just walk around and do absolutely nothing as the ender dragon continues flying in circles. But that's when, out of nowhere, the ender dragon just blows up. And we can even see a death message inside chat, which means that this ender dragon was actually the speedrunner's friend the entire time. Well, now that the ender dragon is dead, the speedrunner jumps into the portal and finishes the speedrun with a time of 14 minutes and 35 seconds. This speedrunner loads into the world, and we immediately see a desert village and also a ruined portal. But wait just a second. Already, we can see something that is not legit. You see, if you look down at their hotbar, they are in their second slot. And whenever you load into a world, you always start in your first slot. So this tells us that the speedrun could be fake. The speedrunner starts heading towards the ruined portal, but listen to what they say.
Oh, holy moly macaroni, I have a ruin portal and a desert village right next to each other. Oh my goodness, this is such a good seed.
The speedrunner is right. This is actually a very good seed. The speedrunner makes her way towards the ruined portal and opens the chest to find some actual normal loot, like golden carrots, a fire charge, and some golden armor. All loot that is technically normal.
Ooh, okay. Tons of gold for me. It's okay loot, I guess.
Well, the speedrunner has one obsidian and they place it on the ruin portal, which is not enough to complete the ruin portal, but it definitely helps. The speedrunner then begins making their way towards the village, but wait just a second. Did you see that? Well, if we rewind the footage and then pause it here, on the left side of the screen, we can see what appears to be an alley, which is a mob that can only spawn inside of caves. So an alley being above ground like this is physically impossible. And this alley isn't even the craziest part. Just wait to see what happens later. Well, now that the speedrunner is at the village, they take some carrots and mine some hay bale. Everything that seems pretty normal. But then the speedrunner enters a house and finds a chest. But wait, we have to keep in mind that this house never has a chest inside of it. So how is there a chest right here? Well, it could be a world generation glitch, or maybe they placed it themselves. But the speedrunner opens the chest and finds some okay loot, like iron ingots, some carrots, and a sapling. If the speedrunner did cheat this in, I'm not sure why they would cheat in a sapling. Let's also listen to the speedrunner's reaction whenever they open the chest.
Ooh, a chest. Okay. I guess you could say I'm the luckiest person alive, huh?
The fact that they said that they were the luckiest person alive leads me to believe that the rest of the speedrun is going to be just as fake as the start. And you'll see what I mean very, very soon. Well, now that the speedrunner finished looting the chest, they begin walking away when they say this.
Okay, not bad at all. That's like the best loot that I think I've ever got like in my entire life.
Did you see that? Well, in case you didn't, if we rewind the footage and then pause it here, we can see that this piece of grass right here is a little bit more green than the rest. And I think the speedrunner put this there themselves, and you'll see exactly why I say this in just a few seconds. Well, the speedrunner says that they need a crafting table, so they begin mining a tree.
Alright, but I do need a crafting table to be able to do all my stuff and loot all my stuff and do all my stuff and loot it.
They make themselves a crafting table and some sticks. They begin crafting a whole bunch of new items to help them in the speedrun, but once they finish crafting, they say something very, very suspicious.
Might as well get a bucket of water. I remembered something that I really like collecting grass for some reason, so I'm just gonna like collect a little bit of grass, and cause I just love grass so much. Okay. I love grass.
Did you see that? Well, they mined that light green piece of grass that we saw earlier, but right now we have no idea why. But trust me, we will find out exactly why they did this very, very soon. Well, now that they finished mining that weird piece of grass, they begin making their way. Just a second. Do you see that? There is literally a lit nether portal exactly where we saw the ruined portal from earlier. But how is this possible? Because earlier the speedrunner did not have enough obsidian to finish the portal. So how could it have possibly been lit now? The speedrunner makes her way back towards the ruined portal when they say this.
So I think I'm gonna head back towards this portal. Wait a minute. Is it lit? Oh wait, yeah, I remember. I did light it earlier. So yeah, I lit it earlier.
There's no way they expect us to believe that they lit it earlier when we clearly saw that they just simply didn't. So something tells me that the speedrunner might be lying. Well, the speedrunner goes through the portal, and once they're in the Nether, they find something absolutely crazy.
Okay, let's see this Nether spawn. Oh my goodness, right, a fortress literally right here. Oh my goodness gracious. That is the luckiest thing I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, the speedrunner spawned right next to a fortress, which is possible, I can't lie, but it's extremely lucky. And also, the speedrunner is running around the fortress, and we have yet to see a single mob, which is very, very suspicious. But what happens next is even more suspicious than that.
I wonder if there's any bad guys here. Well, in case there is, I might as well use my diamond sword.
The speedrunner somehow has a diamond sword, but we never watched them pick up a diamond sword at all throughout the speedrun. But wait a minute, remember when they were mining that piece of grass earlier? But I think that the speedrunner placed this diamond sword beneath the grass, so that way whenever they broke it, they picked up the diamond sword. And they weren't looking down, so that way we couldn't see them pick it up. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. The speedrunner begins exploring the Nether fortress when this happens.
Oh, what the hacky hack? Is that a ruin portal right there? Let's go! Let's go! Let's see, what do we got? Oh, flint and steel. Oh, 7 blaze rods.
Yeah, the speedrunner found a ruin portal, which is actually legit, but what's inside of the chest at the ruin portal is not. Because it's impossible to find blaze rods inside of a ruin portal chest, because you can only get them if you simply kill a blade. And what the speedrunner says next leads me to believe that they are 100% cheating.
Oh, I heard that was in the new update that they added blaze rods inside of ruin portal chests instead of you having to kill, like, any of the blazes.
Yeah, they said it was a new update, but whenever I look this up, it says nothing about blaze rods spawning inside of ruined portal chest. So the speedrunner is just simply lying. But wait a second, I just realized something else that is very weird. And in case you haven't seen it, then here, I'll show you. On the left side of the screen, we can see what appears to be a sign. Well, it's too far away, so I can't see what they wrote on it. And the speedrunner just walks right by it without saying anything. So I'm not sure what it was used for. But the speedrunner does say this.
Well, I might as well go back because I don't need to be in here anymore because you know how it is. I never have to be here because I'm so cool and I'm so awesome and I'm so good at speedruns.
Did you see that? Well, in case you didn't hear, I'll rewind the footage and then I'll pause it here. So basically, there is a frog inside of this Nether fortress, which in case you're new to Minecraft is just completely impossible. Because you see, frogs can only spawn inside of jungle. Well, the speedrunner starts making their way back towards the ruin portal when they suddenly do some pretty cool bridging. And then they finally make it to the Nether portal, and once they're back in the overworld, they say this.
I'm not gonna lie, I think I'm doing this speedrun like super duper quick, and I'm like the bestest. I'm probably gonna get the best time. And also, I hate people who cheat in their speedruns like so much. Like, can you guys just do like a normal speedrun? Like, let's just talk like one-on-one for a second. Like, I hate people who cheat in speedruns. Like me personally, I would never cheat in a speedrun. Never, ever, 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 ever.
You gotta be kidding. First of all, who stops in the middle of a speedrun to just talk? And also, they are very clearly cheating. So there's no way they expect us to believe that they're not. Especially after what happens next.
Well, now that we got that out of the way, I have my 7 blaze rods. I might as well turn it into blaze powder now. I just need, what do you call it? I need Enderman. Oh, Enderman! I heard that there's like a secret Enderman call that make Enderman spawn. Whenever you're like, whenever you do that, it makes the Enderman spawn. So let's see if it works.
What the heck just happened? There's no way their secret Enderman call actually worked. I'm actually so confused what just happened. If anybody knows how they did this, then please let me know. Well, they begin fighting a whole bunch of Endermen when they get extremely low, so they run into some water. They do manage to kill one Enderman when something very weird happened.
Okay, I know I killed one of the Endermen, but I don't know if it gave me any Ender Pearls, but I might as well check. Oh my god, it did! It dropped 16 Ender Pearls. Oh yeah, I I remember picking that up whenever I killed that. I remember.
There's no way that one Enderman dropped 16 Ender Pearls. That's just physically impossible. Also, if we look back at when they did kill the Enderman, we can see that it very clearly dropped nothing. Not only that, if we pay very close attention to the timer in the top left, we can see it go from 6 minutes and 4 seconds all the way to 6 minutes and 30 seconds, all within 1 second. So either the speedrunner is a time traveler or something very fishy is going on here. Where the speedrunner gets out of the water and then they tell the Enderman to watch them do something cool.
Hey, Enderman, watch this, Hiya! Oh, okay. You like that, Enderman?
I'm gonna be honest, that was not impressive at all. The speedrunner turns their Ender Pearls into Eyes of Ender, but then whenever they throw it, something very weird happens.
Oh, it's in that direction, yeah, I don't want to go in that direction. Oh my goodness, what is this? Is this stone brick? What the heck? How did stone brick get here? All right, let's see. Wait a minute, what the heck? Oh my god, no way, it's the stronghold!
Are we being serious right now? This is literally the Timu version of a stronghold. First of all, strongholds cannot even spawn this high up as they can only spawn at Y level 16. Not only that, on the right and the left side of the screen, we can see glowstone behind the iron bar. But guess what? I'm not done. Because if we also look at the spawner, that is not a normal spawner. That is something called a trial spawner that only spawns in the trial chamber. So those are 3 things that immediately make this part of the speedrun completely fake. But let's also listen to what the speedrunner says.
Oh my god, I can't believe it. I got so lucky and I got the stronghold. Oh my goodness gracious. Well, I think it's time to go to the end. Yahoo! Oh my goodness. What the heck kind of end spawn is this?
Okay, the speedrunner is in the end and they did not get a very good spawn. And whenever I first saw this part, I thought that they were gonna throw an ender pearl. They found an even better way to get out of this situation. And this part is absolutely mind-blowing.
I guess I better watch my steps, that way I don't fall. Oh my goodness gracious. This end spawn is just so bad and so garbage, and I hate this end spawn. I'm like kind of scared to even like go anywhere just because like I'm like right on the edge and it's just so crazy. Oh, wait, oh, I think I made it. Oh, okay, I'm good, never mind.
Did we all just watch that happen? Because I am so confused. The speedrunner was literally floating on air. The only way I could assume that they did this was by placing barrier blocks. And they had to have memorized exactly where to go because they somehow didn't fall once. Which I gotta give it to them is pretty impressive. But what's not impressive is what they do next.
Oh, Ender Dragon! It's time to die, Ender Dragon! Oh, what the heck? Why are there so many eggs everywhere? Come here, egg. Oh, come here, egg. Oh, come here, egg. Oh, come here, egg. Oh. What the heck? Okay, stupid egg. Get lit on fire. So, oh, what the heck?
Speedrunner just lit themselves on fire, which is probably the most embarrassing thing that you can do in Minecraft. And for some reason, the Ender Dragon just, I guess, didn't spawn, and instead, a million eggs spawned. So the speedrunner should be able to beat the speedrun pretty easily. But just watch what they do.
All right, time to go up. Oh, I beat the speedrun. Oh, wait. I almost beat the speedrun. Oh, wait. Oh, what the heck? Wait. Oh my god. There we go. Yeah, I beat the speedrun.
They finally beat the speedrun with a time of 9 minutes and 32 seconds. This speedrunner starts by loading into the world, where immediately we can see a pyramid and also a village, which is a very good spawn for speedrunning. The speedrunner immediately heads over towards the pyramid and begins breaking their way in. And once they land down below, we immediately see something that is fake. And in case you didn't catch it, then here, I'll show you. If we look down at their hearts, we can see that they are full HP. But if we rewind 5 seconds ago, we can see that they jumped down into the pyramid and took no fall damage. Which, if you ask me, is incredibly suspicious. Because any normal speedrunner would have taken fall damage here. Well, the speedrunner begins looting the pyramid, and inside of each chest, they find some pretty normal loot, like sand, rotten flesh, and even diamonds. But wait just a second. If we look at the loot from every single chest, and we examine it very closely, closely, we can see that inside of every single chest, there were diamonds. But not only that, the diamonds were placed directly in the middle of each chest, which is technically possible, it is just very weird. But the speedrunner did gain the advancement diamonds inside chat, which means that there is actually a good chance that this could be real. So the speedrunner builds their way back up, exits the pyramid, and begins making their way to the village that we saw at the start of the speedrun. But hold on just a second. If we take a closer look at the speedrunner's inventory, we can see a diamond pickaxe. But where did they get this? Because they were just inside the pyramid and they had no diamond pickaxe. Well, if we rewind the video and then play it again from right here, we can see as they exited the pyramid, they picked up a diamond pickaxe. So the speedrunner probably dropped a diamond pickaxe before the speedrun began and hoped that we wouldn't notice. Well, the speedrunner finally arrives at the desert village. But hold on just a second. Did you see that? Well, in case you didn't, if we rewind the footage and then pause it right here, we can see what appears to be a blue axolotl. But how is this possible? Because blue axolotls can only spawn inside of jungles, not inside of a desert village. And this blue axolotl isn't even the fakest part about this speedrun, because what the speedrunner does at the end is absolutely insane. Well, the speedrunner completely ignores the blue axolotl and begins exploring more of the village. But hold on just a second. This house right here is called an armorer, and this is what the inside of this house typically looks like. But whenever the speedrunner enters this house, we can see that there is a chest that never spawns here, which means that there is a good chance that whatever is inside this chest is completely fake. Well, the speedrunner walks up to the chest and finds tons of iron loot, which we all know is just not legit. Well, the speedrunner takes all of the iron loot and even puts on some iron armor. They then begin exploring more of the village and even mine some hay bales for food and some beds to blow up the ender dragon later, which is actually a pro speedrunner strategy. But wait just a second. You see, I currently have 6 subscribers and it's always been my goal to one day reach 7 subscribers. So if you could help me out, that would genuinely mean the world to me. They then find a crafting table where they then craft themselves some bread, 2 iron ingots, iron pants, and an iron helmet. Well, now that the speedrunner has some pretty good loot, they begin by exploring more of the village. But wait just a second. Did you see that? Well, if I rewind the footage and pause it right here, we can see what appears to be a command block with a pressure plate on top of it. And if you know anything about Minecraft, you know that command blocks are physically impossible to get inside of survival Minecraft, which means that it is very likely that the speedrunner placed this command block down inside of creative. Well, the speedrunner looks around to make sure no one's looking, where they suddenly step on the pressure plate and wait, what the heck? Are they entering the Nether? Oh, well, I guess they're in the Nether now. And not only that, they also spawned inside of the fortress. And once again, we can see that they gain the advancements inside chat, which means that this is their first time in the Nether and their first time entering a fortress, which means that this could actually be real. Well, the speedrunner begins exploring the fortress, where they suddenly walk up to a wither skeleton, but for some reason, it's not attacking him, which, if I'm being completely honest, I have no idea how this is even possible. Well, the speedrunner decides to randomly mine into a wall where they find a golden block. But the thing is, golden blocks cannot spawn inside of fortresses, as they can only spawn inside of bastions. And this isn't the only time they do this, because once again, they mine into the wall and find another golden block. And they even do this 2 more times. Well, now that they have 4 golden blocks, they turn them into golden ingots. They then begin digging out a hole, likely to begin trading with piglins. They then place down a crafting table and make themselves golden boots. Now that they have golden boots, they explore more of the fortress and eventually find a piglin. They try pushing the piglin over towards their hole, but it just walks away. So the speedrunner then picks up the piglin. Wait, what? I had no idea that picking up a piglin was even possible. So this caught me completely off guard. And I'm not even gonna lie, if you think that picking up a piglin was insane, then you're gonna be even more surprised for what the speedrunner does at the end. Because trust me, it is absolutely insane. Well, the speedrunner places the piglin inside of their hole, and then they go around the fortress some more, finding 2 more piglins and placing each of them inside of the hole as well. They spend some time trading with the piglins, but eventually they only get 4 ender pearls, which is not enough to enter the end. Well, now that the speedrunner is out of gold, they explore more of the fortress. But hold on just a second. Did you see that? Well, if we zoom into their hotbar, we can see that they have 16 ender pearls. But whenever they were trading with the piglins, they only had 4. So where did they magically get 12 ender pearls? Well, if we rewind the footage and play it again from right here, we can see a sudden cut where the speedrunner magically gained 12 ender pearls. So I believe that the speedrunner went inside of creative mode and gave themselves ender pearls, but just cut it out of the speedrun, which is against the rules of speedrunning. Well, now that the speedrunner has all of the ender pearls they need, they begin looking for blazes. They begin killing a bunch of random blazes, but sadly, they only have one blaze rod. But then, out of nowhere, the speedrunner randomly looks at the floor, and now they have 20 blaze rods. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, this is just embarrassing at this point. Just like what they did with the ender pearls, they just gave themselves more blaze rods, which once again is against the rules of speedrunning. Well, now that the speedrunner technically has everything they need to enter the end, they begin making their way back towards the Nether portal. Now, once they're in the overworld, they turn their blaze rods into blaze powder and make themselves 12 eyes of ender. They then throw their eye of ender and they begin heading in that direction. But hold on just a second. Did you see that? Well, if we rewind the footage and pause it right here, we can see a bunch of random stone brick, which is the same exact material that is used for the stronghold. Well, the speedrunner drops down into the hole, and what the heck is that? It's just a floating end portal? I am so confused. Well, I guess the speedrunner enters the end, and once they're in the end, they look around for a little bit, and I'm not gonna lie, everything looks pretty normal. The ender dragon has full health, and they don't even gain any random new items. But they do sit here for a few seconds when out of nowhere they begin flying? Are we serious right now? So the speedrunner flies over to the main island, and now that the speedrunner apparently had fly hacks this entire time, it should be very easy for them to kill the ender dragon. Well, the speedrunner places down some blocks at the portal, but the ender dragon is taking a while to perch. So the speedrunner gets impatient and just starts flying over to the ender dragon, hitting it over and over again until eventually the ender dragon perches, and the speedrunner flies around hitting the ender dragon when suddenly the speedrunner just dies. Even with hacks, the speedrunner still could not kill the ender dragon. That speedrun was so embarrassing. This speedrunner starts inside of a desert biome, which is a pretty lucky spawn to have inside of a speedrun. But listen to the speedrunner's reaction whenever they load into the world.
Oh my god, I can't believe I spawned right next to a village and also a temple right over there. I got so lucky.
I'm pretty sure that's called a pyramid, not a temple, and you're right, you actually did get extremely lucky. But that doesn't mean that the speedrun is cheated quite yet. Well, the speedrunner starts breaking some dead bushes as they make their way towards the pyramid, which is actually a pro speedrunner strategy. The speedrunner finally reaches the pyramid and begins digging straight down into it. And just listen to their reaction.
Whoa! Oh my goodness, I almost died. I wonder what's inside of this chest.
But the speedrunner opens up the chest, finding surprisingly some pretty normal loot, like bones, string, and some rotten flesh. Nothing too suspicious yet. The speedrunner then loots the second chest, but listen to what they say.
Okay, and this chest. Oh my god, a diamond! Now I have 4. Yay!
They looted 1 diamond and now somehow have 4. But when did they get 4? Well, if we rewind the footage here and then unpause, we can see a sudden cut where they magically gained 3 diamonds, which at first I didn't even notice. But the speedrunner loots the rest of the chests, which all has loot that would normally spawn inside of a pyramid. So we have no proof that anything here was cheated into the game. But the speedrunner uses their sand to build out of the pyramid, and they begin making their way over towards the village. Once the speedrunner gets to the village, they come up with a pretty good idea. But watch very carefully for what happens.
Alright, this rotten flesh is not doing it. I need to get some hay bales so I can turn it into bread.
Did you see it? Well, if we slightly rewind the footage and pause it here, we can see what appears to be a polar bear in a desert village. Which, unless you're new to Minecraft, you know that is completely fake. Because everybody knows that polar bears can only spawn inside of jungles. So a polar bear being here inside of a desert literally makes no sense. Well, the speedrunner doesn't even acknowledge the polar bear and instead breaks all of the wheat, and then they say that they need a crafting table.
Alright, now I just need a crafting table.
They start searching through houses until they find something very strange.
Crafting table, where are you? Oh, there's the crafting table. What the heck?
Yeah, so the speedrunner doesn't even know what a crafting table looks like, which is genuinely embarrassing. And this isn't the only time that this happened.
Because I don't really know where a crafting table literally is. Oh, there's a crafting table. What the heck?
Yeah, at this point, this is just sad to watch. But don't worry, because the speedrunner eventually does find a crafting table.
Oh my goodness, a crafting crafting table.
They then turn all of their hay bales into wheat. Now that they finally have a stable food supply, they go around the village exploring a little bit more until they say and do something that is very, very suspicious.
I don't think I checked this house yet. What? Oh, a chest. Oh my god, no way. I found so many obsidian. Oh my goodness. I can't believe I got so lucky.
Yeah, you can't believe you got so lucky that you found obsidian inside of a random chest, which, in case you guys were wondering, is completely fake. Well, now that the speedrunner has enough obsidian to build another portal, they say something very, very weird.
That's like enough obsidian to literally like build a castle.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think 13 obsidian is enough obsidian to build a castle, unless it's just a very small castle. The speedrunner starts constructing themselves a nether portal, and then they realize that they don't have a flint and steel.
Okay, and boom. Oh wait, I don't have any flint and steel. Oh wow, oh literally gravel. I can't believe I got so lucky that I found gravel. That's literally so lucky. Oh, and I got flint and steel of the flint for the third one.
Okay, at the end there, their sentence kind of fell apart. I'm not too sure what they said, but that is extremely suspicious, especially considering that gravel cannot spawn like this above ground in a desert biome. So did they get extremely lucky, or did they just place down this gravel themselves? I think we both know the answer to that question. Well, now that they have flint, they can make themselves a flint and steel. They then remember that they completely forgot about the crafting table, so they go back to the house, break the crafting table, and then place it back down, and make themselves a diamond sword and an iron pickaxe. And now they're finally ready to enter the nether.
Alright, it's time to go to the nether!
But wait, once they go inside the nether, something absolutely crazy happens.
Uh-oh, there's a blaze! Oh no! I don't have any! Oh my god, I don't have a shield! I need a shield!
So clearly we have tons of blazes all around the place in what appears to be a nether fortress. But after looking at this nether fortress for more than 3 seconds, you can tell that something is very off. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that the speedrunner built this nether fortress themselves, because this does not look normal. Well, the speedrunner goes around attacking the blazes until something unexpected happens.
Die, blaze, die! Die, blaze! Oh my god, he's literally hacking! Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I'm gonna die. I'm actually gonna die. Oh, I'm gonna die. Okay, wait a minute. Give me a second. Give me a second. I have to go AFK.
They say they have to go AFK and open up the chat menu. And that's when a sudden cut happens and they're suddenly full HP again. Not only that, they have armor bars and what looks like a shield. So I think that the speedrunner went in creative mode and gave themselves some iron armor and a shield, which, if I'm being completely honest, is cheating. But also, the speedrunner tries to act like nothing happened.
Oh my god, I'm back. I'm literally back. What the heck just happened? I went AFK for 2 seconds. Oh my goodness. I'm actually gonna die. Okay, Blaze. Okay, why did he punch me? Easy. You're bad, Blaze. You're bad.
The speedrunner starts killing tons of blazes until no blazes are spawning anymore. So they say that 3 is apparently enough and that they don't need any more.
Oh my goodness, how many blazes? I have 2? I need more than just 2. Die, Blaze, die! Oh my god, he gave me 1. I have 3. Come on, Blaze spawner, hurry up and spawn them. You know what? I don't even need any more blaze rods, huh?
But wait, you need at least 6 blaze rods for blaze powder, and this speedrunner only has 3. So chances are they're not gonna have enough eyes of ender to reach the end portal. Well, they go back through the portal, and once they're in the overworld, something very weird happens.
Alright, there we go. Now I have 12 blaze rods, which is enough.
Okay, where did they get an extra 9 blaze rods? Because if we look inside their inventory from a minute ago, they very clearly did not have 9 extra blaze rods. Which leads me to believe that they definitely just cheated this in when we weren't looking. But that's not where the shenanigans end. Just listen what the speedrunner says next.
Now all I need to do is find ender pearls, which I'm pretty sure this exact type of village should always have ender pearls in it.
This exact type of village never has ender pearls. I have no idea what the speedrunner is talking about.
I just gotta find... Oh, yep, it's this house right here. Yep, there it is. Oh, my ender chest? Oh, my goodness. I'm pretty sure ender chests always have ender pearls because they're ender chests, and then they have ender pearls in their ender chests. Oh, my goodness, 16. Oh, let's go.
Okay, this part of the speedrun is obviously fake because the only way for there to be anything inside of an ender chest is if you place it yourself, which means the speedrunner 100% just placed this inside the ender chest themselves, which is against the rules of Minecraft speedrun. Well, they turn their blaze rods into blaze powder and make themselves 12 eyes of ender. So now the speedrunner throws their eyes of ender to try to find the end portal.
Alright, now let's see. Where is the stronghold? It says it's over in this direction. I say we throw one more. Oh my god, it's back this way, so it must be like right here somewhere.
There is no way you expect me to believe that the speedrunner somehow spawned directly on top of the end portal, especially considering that the end portal usually spawns at least 3,000 blocks away from the speedrunner. So something is very, very suspicious about this.
Alright, so I have to start digging straight down. I kind of want to dig straight down right here, to be honest. Oh my god, I'm falling, oh no! Oh, where am I? Oh no, is this the trial chambers?
There's no way the speedrunner just somehow found the trial chamber. But that's not even the most crazy thing that's going to happen. Just watch what happens next.
I'm kind of scared. I think I'm gonna hide inside this wall right here because I'm scared. Oh, what the heck is this? Super duper epic roller coaster? Oh, I forgot to get minecart.
Did you hear that? The speedrunner said they forgot to give themselves a minecart, which is basically them admitting that the speedrun is fake. Well, instead of riding the super duper epic roller coaster, they just walk along it, but just watch what happens next.
Okay, well, go this way. Oh my god, it led right to the stronghold. Oh my goodness, I don't know where to go. I'm just gonna go in like completely random direction because I don't know where to go and I've never been in here before, so I'm probably not gonna know where to go on my first try, but hopefully I get super duper lucky and I somehow go right to the place. Oh my god, I found it! No way! I found it!
There is no way that the speedrunner found the exact path to get to the portal when they've apparently never been here before. Well, the speedrunner places in their 11 eyes of ender and enters the portal. Once they're in the end, they find a very suspicious tunnel that leads right up to the surface.
Oh my god, there's Enderman right here. Oh, I can't look in their eyes or else the Enderman will get me.
Is the speedrunner being serious right now? They're saying that 3 blocks of wool are Enderman. There's no way they expect us to believe that this is actual Enderman.
Come here, Ender Dragon, come here! Die, Ender Dragon! Oh my god, he kinda hurt me. Ender Dragon, I'm gonna beat you up. Get back down here. Die, Ender Dragon! Die! What the Sigma? Why are you running away? Come down here and fight me, Ender Dragon. Ender Dragon knows I'm gonna win, so he's running away. You stupid Ender Dragon, come here! Die, 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 Ender Dragon, die! Die, Ender Dragon! Die! Die, Ender Dragon, die! Oh my god, I killed... Oh, what the heck? I think I got killed by one of the Endermen.
The speedrunners somehow killed the Ender Dragon, but they also died. And then at this point, they just give up.
I'm not doing this ever again. This is so stupid.
So they technically didn't even finish the speedrun because it just simply ends there. This speedrunner loads into the world, and immediately we see a desert temple and also a desert village out in the distance, which is a very good spawn for a speedrun. But we can already tell that something is fake. You see, if you look at their coordinates in the top left, they are not at 0, 0, which means that this is not a normal spawn. Well, the speedrunner immediately heads towards the pyramid and they begin digging their way down. Once at the bottom, they loot all 4 chests that all have completely normal loot, but each chest does have 1 diamond each, which is incredibly suspicious, but it's not impossible. But once the speedrunner finishes looting the pyramid, they begin building and breaking their way out of the pyramid. And once they exit the pyramid, they begin making their way towards the village. But wait just a second. Did you say that? Well, in case you didn't, if we rewind the footage and then pause it here, we can see what appears to be a strider. But you see, striders can only spawn inside of snowy biome, which means a strider being here is completely impossible. Well, as the speedrunner starts heading towards the village, they break some dead bushes, which gives them a few sticks, which is actually a thing that a lot of pro speedrunners tend to do. So this part seems pretty legit. Well, the speedrunner arrives at the village, but wait, I just now noticed something that I didn't notice before. And in case you haven't noticed it either, here, I'll show you. You see, on the left side of the screen, we can see a player trying to play blend in with the sand in the background. And whenever you're speedrunning, you have to make sure that you're in a single player world. So if they're playing with another person, then this immediately makes the speedrun completely fake. And whenever the speedrunner gets inside one of the village's houses, we can see the speedrunner's friend change their skin inside chat. And you're not gonna believe what they do next. Well, the speedrunner breaks the crafting table and then finds a chest that has some iron and some bread. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Well, the speedrunner places down their crafting table and then they make themselves an iron pickaxe and diamond boots. The speedrunner then breaks the crafting table and then starts exploring more of the village. But wait just a second. Did you see what I just saw? Well, in case you didn't, if we rewind the footage and then play the video from here, we can see a villager walk right by them. Except this isn't a normal villager, as I'm pretty sure this is the speedrunner's friend that we saw earlier trying to blend in with the sand. And at first, I didn't even notice that this was a fake villager. Well, the speedrunner explores more of the village and then starts breaking some hay bales. They also start mining some potatoes, where once again we can see this fake villager that we saw earlier. And if you think that this villager is fake, just see what they do next. Well, the speedrunner breaks all of the potatoes, and then we suddenly see a pressure plate on the ground. But the only thing is that pressure plates do not naturally spawn, as they can only be crafted. And of course, the speedrunner steps on the pressure plate, where they suddenly get launched 800 blocks into the sky. But when they eventually start falling back down, they're in a completely different area. Because before they were in a desert, and now we can see them in a plains biome. But how could they have possibly done this? Well, I'm not too sure. But the speedrunner falls back down and lands in some water. And once they get out of the water, they then find a ruin portal that is only missing one piece of obsidian. So the speedrunner loots the ruin portal chest, which has a flint and steel, a piece of gold, a golden chest plate, and one obsidian, of course. So the speedrunner places in the one obsidian and lights the nether portal. Once they load into the nether, we can see that they spawn right next to a nether fortress. But if we play the video for 5 more seconds, we can see that this is clearly not a normal nether fortress. So I'm pretty sure the speedrunner just went inside a creative and built their own nether fortress, which in case you're new to Minecraft is just simply not legit. Well, the speedrunner goes up the staircase where they suddenly find a piglin. Something about this piglin tells me that it's not real, and you'll see why I say this in just a sec. So the speedrunner opens up their inventory, grabs a piece of gold, and drops it to the piglin. The piglin, of course, examines the gold and drops them an enchanted diamond sword. Okay, this is obviously fake, but that's not even the craziest part, because you see, the diamond sword has sharpness 3000. I didn't even know that was an enchantment inside of Minecraft. Well, the speedrunner walks away from the piglin and goes outside, where they find a blaze. Guys, am I the only one seeing that this is clearly not a real blaze? Well, the very real blaze attacks the speedrunner, and then the speedrunner just one-hits it. And the blaze, of course, drops blaze rods. But how many blaze rods? Well, let's see. The blaze dropped a stack of blaze rods, because of course. Well, the speedrunner now has all of the blaze rods that they need, so they leave the nether, and once they're back in the overworld, they go around in circles for a little bit until they suddenly start dropping down below into a cave. Now, when I watched this part for the first time, I was very confused, because why would the speedrunner go inside of a completely random cave? Well, you'll see why they do this in just a moment. Well, the speedrunner drops down below, and we can see what appears to be a stone brick tunnel, which if you know anything about Minecraft, you know that stone brick usually means that it's a stronghold. But the only problem is that they're at Y level 38, and strongholds can only appear at Y level 16 or below, which makes this part of the speedrun completely fake. Well, the speedrunner walks towards the stronghold and mines their way in, and that's when we can see that the end portal is already lit and it's made out of diamonds and amethyst. Guys, how is this even possible? Everybody knows that end portals are made from end frames and not diamonds, which confirms that this part of the speedrun is very, very fake. Well, the speedrunner begins to jump into the portal, but wait, do you see what I see? Well, in case you don't, here, I'll show you. Behind the iron bars, we can see what appears to be a villager, which once again, I have a weird suspicion could be the speedrunner's friend that we saw all throughout the speedrun so far. Well, the speedrunner enters the end, and once they load in, they build up with hay bales and begin searching for the ender dragon. But the speedrunner runs up towards the ender dragon and hits it one time, which somehow kills it. I had no idea that sharpness 3000 was this OP. Well, now that the ender dragon is dead, the speedrunner jumps into the portal and finishes the speedrun with a time of 6 minutes and 24 seconds, giving them the new world record. This speedrunner starts by loading into the world, where immediately we can see a village. But that's not all. We can also see a shipwreck on the side of the screen. And these two structures being this close to each other means that the speedrunner got insanely lucky. But already, we can see something that is actually fake about this speedrun. And no, it's not the village, and it's also not the shipwreck either. But instead, it's actually this piece of redstone right here. Because redstone dust can actually only be found inside of jungle temples. And this is clearly not a jungle temple, which means the speedrunner probably placed this down themselves, which I think we're gonna see why they placed this down very soon into the speedrun. Well, the speedrunner immediately makes their way over towards the village, and once they arrive at the village, once again, we can see something that is fake. And in case you haven't noticed it, then here, I'll show you. Right in front of them is a villager's house, and if you look closely at the door, it's already open. But the thing is, whenever villagers open doors, they always close them behind them, which means this door should not be open. Well, the speedrunner enters the house and listen closely to what they say.
Let's see. Ooh, nice chest. Alright. Oh, okay. We got some bread, some emeralds, and some apples. I love all of this loot.
The speedrunner got some pretty average loot, like emeralds, potatoes, bread, and apples. All things that normally spawn inside of this village chest. But hang on just a second. If we rewind the footage and then play it again from right here, whenever they hover their mouse above the apple, we can see that it says redstone apple, which is very weird because redstone apples are not in normal Minecraft. So I'm very confused how they were somehow able to craft a redstone apple. Well, now that the speedrunner has some loot, they begin breaking the house for some wood. But just listen to what they say.
Now I need some wood. Give me that wood. Yeah, give me that wood. Yeah. Give me that wood.
Yeah, this speedrunner might be a little bit of a weirdo, but once they gathered 3 logs, they used the wood to make a crafting table and some sticks. They then used the crafting table to make a wooden axe.
A wooden axe. I love axes. Axes more like taxes. Am I right, guys? I love taxes.
Axes more like taxes? Is this speedrunner serious? Okay, well, now that the speedrunner has a wooden axe, they use it to actually kill the iron golem. But once again, I just want you to listen to the speedrunner.
Excuse me, iron golem. Hold that real quick. That little silly iron golem. You so silly, iron golem. Oh, did he give up? Are you okay, iron golem? Oh, okay, he's coming. Alright, we'll just go right there. Alright, come on, iron golem. Oh my god, this guy's a slowpoke. Are you serious? Boom. 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 Boom.
Well, after hitting the iron golem 13 times, yes, I actually did count, they gained 3 iron. The speedrunner, of course, uses that iron to make themselves an iron pickaxe, but they also decide to craft something else. And if I'm being completely honest, this next part is absolutely crazy. Well, just watch it for yourself.
Alright, what else should I make with what I have? I need a better weapon. I'll just make like an emerald sword. It's pretty good loot, I would say so myself.
Are we serious? An emerald sword? I've never seen a speedrunner make an emerald sword before. So how is this possible? Well, if I'm being completely honest, much like the redstone apples, I believe that the speedrunner might be using a mod, because redstone apples are not in Minecraft, nor is an emerald sword. So I'm pretty sure something fishy is going on here. Well, now that the speedrunner has some questionable items, they break the crafting table and begin making their way towards the shipwreck that we saw earlier in the speedrun. But wait just a second. You see, I'm trying to reach 200,000 subscribers, so if you could subscribe, that would genuinely mean a lot to me. Something about this frame right here is actually fake. And if I'm being completely honest, it's very, very obvious. So I'm sure that you saw it. But in case you didn't, if we zoom in right here, we can actually see what appears to be a green piece of wool, which at first is very confusing because why would they randomly place a piece of wool right here? But you'll see why they did this very, very soon. Well, the speedrunner jumps into the water and swims over towards the shipwreck. And now that the speedrunner is at the shipwreck, just listen to what they say.
Alright, I hate when shipwrecks have like terrible loot. I'm gonna be completely honest here. Alright, let's see. Okay, a chest. Oh my goodness, no way. That's such good loot. Yes, let's go. Holy diamonds and iron and gold and iron.
The shipwreck had very good loot, and we can even see that the speedrunner gained the advancement diamonds inside chat, which means that the speedrunner probably found this completely normally, which means that this loot could actually be legit. Well, now that the speedrunner has some pretty good loot, they swim back over towards land, where they once again place down their crafting table and make themselves an iron helmet, a diamond axe, and 1 golden ingot. But wait, this next part is extremely suspicious, so I'm gonna let you just watch it for yourself.
Alright, I am gonna need just a few blocks for my speedrun later, because obviously every speedrunner needs blocks and stuff. That's usually how it goes, you already know. Alright, there we go.
Did you see that? Well, the speedrunner mined the green wool that we saw earlier, but why did they randomly mine a green piece of wool? Well, right now, it's not gonna make any sense, but you'll see why they did this very, very soon. But once they mine the green piece of wool, they immediately find a ruined portal. And once they arrive at the ruined portal, watch very carefully for what happens.
Alright, let's see what we got here. Oh my goodness, there's crying obsidian everywhere. Okay, that's pretty good loot, that's pretty good loot. I cannot lie, that is actually pretty good loot.
Did you see that? Well, once they open up the chest, we can see their entire inventory. And inside of it, we can see a flint and steel. But if we rewind 1 minute ago, we can see that the speedrunner never had a flint and steel. So where did they get this? Well, remember when they were mining the green piece of wool? I believe that underneath the green piece of wool was actually a flint and steel. That's why whenever the speedrunner broke the wool, they never looked down so that way we could see what they picked up. And if I'm being completely honest, they almost got away with it. But once they finish looting the ruined portal chest, just watch what they do next, because this next part is absolutely insane.
Wait, can I finish the portal with this? Let's see. Oh my god, that was enough obsidian to finish the portal. Oh, okay, good thing I got a flint and steel earlier. I just light this now. Yep, there we go, perfect. We're headed into the nether, let's go.
Are we serious right now? The ruined portal had crying obsidian all over it, and you cannot light a nether portal if there's crying obsidian. So how did the speedrunner do this? Well, if I'm completely honest, I'm not too sure. But once the speedrunner enters the nether, they look around for a little bit until they realize that they actually got a terrible nether spawn. But that doesn't matter, because what they do next is so obviously them cheating that it's genuinely hilarious. Well, just watch for yourself.
Alright, what is this spawn? This is a weird spawn. Hold on, let me eat my apple real quick. Yeah, this is very weird. Alright, I do need like a little bit of glowstone. Just a little bit like that.
We all saw that, right? But whenever the speedrunner was mining glowstone, we can see them gain the advancement into fire inside the chat. And if we pause it right here, we can see a very obvious blaze rod entering their inventory. Not only that, the speedrunner also checks their inventory, and we can see a bunch of blaze rods and ender pearls inside of their inventory. And now that the speedrunner has all the items they need to enter the end, they begin heading back towards the overworld. But just watch this next part.
Alright, let's see. So, okay, I have some ender pearls and blaze rods. Get the blaze powder, boom. Let's go. Okay, so hopefully the end fortress place is not too far away. Oh, that's over in that direction. Are we serious? Okay, okay. That's not terrible. And it broke. Oh my goodness, I'm so unlucky. Let's head in this direction. Hopefully we have like good stuff in this direction. I'm like hoping and praying. I have no idea where this portal could be at. Like, come on. Oh my god, no way. What is that? Is that the end portal? Oh my goodness. Oh wait, I'm pretty sure in the newest update they added these new portals that could just randomly spawn.
This end portal is so obviously fake, and I even looked inside of the newest update, and they said absolutely nothing about a new ender portal spawning above ground like this. So if I'm being completely honest, this part is so obviously fake. Well, the speedrunner enters the portal anyways, and they find a chicken. How the heck did a chicken get here? Well, the speedrunner kills the chicken and throws an ender pearl over towards the main island. And now for this next part, just watch how the speedrunner kills the ender dragon, because it is absolutely hilarious.
Okay, the ender dragon is right there. What do I do? Please don't attack me. There's actually like a speedrunner strat that like not a lot of people use in their speedruns that I think I'm gonna use right here. Okay, so come here, ender dragon. Okay, ready, ender dragon? Ready? Ready? Ender dragon. And if I like crouch like 2 times, oh yeah, there we go. The ender dragon. Hey, yo, okay, whoa, Enderman.
Did the ender dragon just disappear? Did I see that right? And not only that, this portal right here is completely fake. But the speedrunner enters the end portal and finishes the speedrun with a time of 7 minutes and 16 seconds. Wait, what the heck is this? Directed by Tim Johnson? Wait, what? Produced by Marielle Soria, PGA, Sunzane Barugi, PGA, Christopher Jenkins, PGA? These are not the normal Minecraft credits. What is going on? So I think we're just gonna end the speedrun there. If you like that video, I would highly recommend watching this video, because this video is pretty cool too.